Hey YouTube, I hope that everybody is doing well today. In today's video, we're going to be going over some simple tips on how you guys can bring blessings into your space by implementing different areas of Feng Shui. All right, you guys, we're going to go ahead and get started. So before we do, I want you guys to look around your room, your house, your apartment, wherever you're at right now, and just sit there, take a deep breath, look around. As you're observing this space, how do you feel? Do you have feelings of peace and serenity? Do you have feelings of anxiety? Do you feel overwhelmed as you're looking around this space? You guys, these are some really key things just to focus for a second and think about, how's your space making you feel? A lot of the times we're doing so many different things on a daily basis that we don't even really tune into our space and the emotional elements behind it. We don't know what the energy signature is of the entire house, the apartment, or that space in itself. So in today's video, we're going to get in deep into some different tips about how you guys can make blessings flow into this space and how it can lift up the overall energy of this space as well. The first thing that we're going to talk about, you guys, is clutter. All right, so this is one huge element of Feng Shui. To put it into perspective, think about your body. All right, imagine that you're walking around, you haven't showered in a few days, you have on all these different sweatshirts, all this clothing at once, you have on a lot of necklaces, you know, your hair is messy, you're just not feeling good. How's this gonna make you feel? For me, I would be feeling bad. In addition to that, how is your level of productivity? Are you gonna be able to get things done? And how is your energy levels? Do you feel drained? Do you feel energetic? To me, if I had all this stuff on me, I wouldn't feel motivated to even move. I feel like even if I got a lot of rest, my energy levels would be low because I just would have so much baggage attached to me. Thinking about ourselves in that way is exactly how the space is going to be energetically if it's filled with a lot of clutter and a lot of things that aren't in use or that are just creating a lot of mess. And the reason why is because when we have a lot of different belongings that are just cluttered and there isn't a flow within that space, what it does is that it creates stagnation. And stagnation aligns with the energy of negativity. Why? Because it deals with things that are being stuck. There's no movement, there's no flow. And we look at the higher energies, there's constant flow, there's constant movement. This ties into the element of change, okay? So we want to have a few things, a couple of things, but we don't want to have clutter. We want there to be an open space where there can be movement. So one of the biggest things that we can do to fix this is to look at things that we don't need, right? Say that I have some clothing that I haven't worn in about 5 years. Either I can give it to Goodwill, give it to the thrift store, donate it. I can sell the clothing, you know, I can give it to some relatives. There are a lot of different things that you can do, but think about it from the perspective of, do I need it? Does this spark joy for me? Shout out to Marie Kondo. Looking at all these different elements and thinking about, is this something that you truly need? If you look at it and you don't feel any emotion with it, let it go, get rid of it, all right? We can do this with clothing, we can do this with objects, and before we know it, we're left with things that we need. We're left with things that may spark joy for us. And in addition to that, we want them to be laid out in an order where there is flow. All right, so decluttering, get rid of things that we don't need because we want to get rid of stagnation. We want to bring in that element of flow. Another thing, you guys, and this is a really, really huge one, but so simple, open up those windows in your space. If you have windows where you are, open them up. Let that fresh air flow in. One of the reasons why this is so big is because oxygen is life, okay? If I'm in a room and it's stuffy, there's not any fresh air coming in, there's not going to be any life or any blessings coming through. To bring in those blessings, we want to make sure that fresh air is constantly circulating in that space. In addition to that, as you're opening the windows, anything that does not belong in that room from an energetic perspective, whether we had an argument with someone earlier, whether there's some stagnant energy that's just lingering, that fresh air is going to carry all of that energy out, leaving the space open for blessings to flow and to come through. we always want to make sure that we're leaving those windows open. Something too deep, you guys, that a lot of people don't know about is, have you guys ever heard of people getting mold in their homes or having issues with fungus? A lot of the times it's due to the fact that there's no fresh air circulating in that space. We're human beings, we need fresh air. Even homes, things that are built from wood, cement, that stuff needs to breathe as well. So that fresh air is super key. Another thing, you guys, is opening your shades every single day, letting that sunshine and that light come through. Once again, tying into the element of life. If you're in a dark space all the time, if there's no natural light coming through, there's not going to be any positive energy or any blessings flowing in that space, because it's cut off from the source of nature, which is going to bring light and positive energy in. All right, once again, aligning with the element of life. Another thing, you guys, is cleansing the space. There's so many different ways to do this, but thinking about it from an energetic perspective, we want to make sure that we're cleansing our space at least once a month, or as much possible as you need to or you feel like you should. But from a standard perspective, once a month is pretty good. And you can use sage to energy cleanse. You can also use Palo Santo. In addition to that, you can use incense, anything that can smudge. So having that smoke as a cleansing element. There are a lot of different ways as well. Vacuuming regularly and just cleaning. So as you're wiping down surfaces and as you're vacuuming the floor, that's also getting rid of that old stagnant energy, bringing in fresh energy elements, okay? You guys, for the final point before I let you guys go that I want to talk about is having living things in the space, okay? A lot of you guys may have dogs, cats, and pets. And, it's amazing because a lot of these animals are like family for us. They're our companions. So if we have a dog in our space, it's always bringing in its own unique energy. It's always making things very fresh, okay? Animals are beautiful. I used to have a dog a few years back. Rest his soul. I had him for 14 years. He passed away at 18, which was about 3 years ago. And we had adopted him, in case you guys were wondering, 14, 18 years. So we adopted him when I was about 8 years old, and he was 4 at the time. But yeah, he was amazing. And I just remember him bringing this very unique energy to the home. It was almost like this spark. And even though he's gone, I feel like he's with me spiritually. Another living element, you guys, that you can bring into your space is plants. Plants are beautiful. They're amazing. They're stress relieving when you look at them. They're living. And they also emit oxygen. A lot of people don't know this, but the plants are also emitting oxygen components. They're filtering out toxins and pollutants from out of the air. And it's just so much they're doing for us. And it's almost like this relationship that you guys have with one another, but it isn't evident. But that plant, as long as you're taking care of it, if it's getting water and sunlight, or we have cacti and they're just getting sunlight, it's all good. But once again, having that plant in your space is bringing in life, which is going to bring in that positive energy and those blessings. You guys, we want to make sure that in your living space, the conditions are as ideal and as awesome as they can be. Excuse me. And these tips are something that I can give to you guys that I've learned on my own from others and from different tools and resources as well. And I would love to hear what you guys think also. So please drop your comments down below, like and subscribe. Peace.